We go to the Fowler files, and we are now 38 days away from the NFL draft. So let's dive into some of the buzz that's building before that huge week. Jeremy Fowler, welcome back to the show. We've got Dominique Foxworth and Damian Woody as well. Jeremy, start us off. What are you hearing about the Chiefs' 9 pick heading into April?
Peter, the Chiefs sense the urgency with this draft. They know that they can reset their entire team coming off a down year. They weren't huge players in free agency because they wanted to acquire more picks with the Trent McDuffie trade, got 2 first-round picks. They could package those to even move back. It's not considered an overly deep draft at the top. They're going to try to rebuild that defense, especially the secondary. They've lost a lot of pieces on that back end, so expect them to get some cornerback help. They know they're good at drafting corners. They also need some help on that defensive line to help Chris Jones.
Okay, you look at that team, and you know Spags is one of the best, and you know Dave Merritt, their defensive backs coach, is one of the best. But Damian Woody, when you look at this Chiefs roster right now, even after free agency, what do you make of it?
I think Jeremy said it perfectly. You look on the defensive side. Think about it last year. This Chiefs team really, when they were winning Super Bowls, it was a lot because of their defense and being able to close out games. They didn't do that last year, and we saw the moves in free agency. They traded away Trent McDuffie. They lost a couple other pieces via free agency as well in the defensive secondary. So they need to replenish that area, and they need closers along the defensive line. So I would expect the Chiefs to be heavy on that side of the ball.
Dominique Foxworth, you were a great defensive back in this league for many years. What do you make of KC's departures of all those guys in their starting defensive backfield?
Yeah, I think Spags' defense is always kind of predicated on the versatility and flexibility of DBs. So them not having their proper cornerbacks and nickels and safeties right now, and maybe they'll find some in the draft, I think really hurts this defense. But we can't let the offense off the hook. I think the defense has been protecting them for a while, but we have to understand that Mahomes is coming back from an injury. We don't know how long it's going to take him to get back to full strength. And even if he is at full strength, the offense last year was not that effective, and they still haven't figured out the playmakers that they need. They added Kenneth Walker, which I think improves this offense, especially with their offensive line playing much better. But they still need a deep threat, a weapon that scares defenses, but they haven't been able to find that since Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Jeremy, let's go to another draft team and a draft prospect, and that would be Notre Dame's Jeremiyah Love. Now, everyone thought 9 to the Chiefs or 8 to the Saints. Well, both those teams signed running backs for huge money with the impression that, he might not be there at 8 or 9. What are you hearing on Love, and how high could he actually go?
Yeah, Peter, a couple teams that didn't sign a running back high in free agency. You got the Tennessee Titans, New York Giants. Those are 2 teams that some people around the league have circled as a potential threat for Love. Now, it's early. We know the difference between interest or liking a player and actually taking one. But there's a belief that GM Mike Borgonzi in Tennessee really likes Love, considers him one of the most quality players in this entire draft. And then the New York Giants, they didn't make a move big at running back last week. They have Cam Scatteraboo. They got Tyrone Tracy. But that offense is going to be heavy on the run. They want to be all in on being able to protect Jackson Dart with the running game. Love would be a perfect fit, who's really considered more of a weapon than just a true running back. With the way he moved around at the combine, you can do a lot with him as a receiver.
You know, this show, Get Up, I love being on it. It's been about a year. We love alliterations, we love puns, and we love names like Love because they're perfect for segments that we can do moving forward. Neek, what do you love about Love, and which team do you love going to, and who do you want to see watching Love go on? Take it from here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Giants is an interesting option because they have a quarterback in Jackson Dart who feels like he has to make every play every single time out on the field, and it sometimes puts his body at risk. I think adding Jeremiyah Love not just improves the running game, but it improves the screen game, which allows Dart to get the ball out of his hands quickly and protect himself a little bit more. I think there's a bit of a risk seeing as the Giants' offensive line isn't fully solidified yet. They have a great left tackle. The rest of the offensive line isn't quite perfect, but I think Jeremiyah Love being as versatile and flexible a player as he is, I think a player like that still could be effective in many ways without having the offensive line that you need to get the best out of a young running back.
You know, Giants fans, they drafted Saquon Barkley 2nd overall. On paper, he's the best player in the draft. That's what everyone's saying. Damian Woody, 5th overall is still rich for a running back as a former offensive lineman, and that team does have offensive line moves. What do you think about the Giants if Jeremiyah Love is on the board?
I would love it. Listen, Peter, both you and I live in the tri-state area. Could you imagine the type of juice that Jeremiyah Love would bring to the Giants, at the running back spot? Because he's not just a running back. He's literally a weapon. I look at him in the same vein as Bijan Robinson, a Christian McCaffrey, a guy that not only can, take it at any point running the football, but a guy that you can line up anywhere and run routes like a wide receiver out there. So that would be the type of player that the Giants would have. And also remember, where did John Harbaugh come from? Baltimore. Baltimore was known for running the football. So how better to have a guy come in as your first pick that can establish that identity on that side of the ball.
It'll be one to watch. Jeremy Fowler, the other name that keeps popping up is Ty Simpson. What's the latest that you're hearing as we head towards the end of March?
Peter, a lot of teams come up when I sort of canvass the league about who could be a suitor for Ty Simpson. Two teams that come up pretty often in those talks. The Arizona Cardinals that need short-term and long-term help. The Los Angeles Rams who need long-term help behind Matthew Stafford. And then you even have wild cards. Washington Commanders, do they need help with Jaden Daniels' durability issues? Philadelphia, do they need to apply some pressure on Jalen Hurts? Those would be major wild cards and a big surprise. But, they sort of come up in conversations. Houston Texans also could be a sleeper behind C.J. Stroud.
That's really interesting. You just mentioned teams like the Eagles and the Texans that we think have bona fide starters and yet would be interested. Neek, Ty Simpson's fascinating. We know Mendoza's the number one. We know Simpson is likely the number two, but no one has a real perfect fit for him. What do you make of Ty Simpson? And would you trade up for him if you were a team looking for a quarterback?
Yeah, I definitely don't think that he's the type of player that you want to trade up for. But I know if you've been watching this draft coverage, you saw through the course of the season, you saw Ty Simpson was the number one, projected to be the number one quarterback taken for the early portion of the season. So the skills are still there. The talent is there. The rest of the season kind of fell apart, and Mendoza just skyrocketed. His value skyrocketed. I think a lot of coaches could look at Ty Simpson and imagine that some of the issues that happened there weren't because of him, and they could solve with proper scheming and coaching. So I think coaches or teams could be excited about having Ty Simpson if they fall to him late in the draft. I don't imagine a bunch of teams are going to trade up to get him earlier in the first.
He worked out well. He also only has 15 starts at the college level. It's a fascinating prospect. We're going to be talking a lot about Ty Simpson and plenty more. We're also going to be talking about A.J. Brown because coming up, all eyes go to number 11 in Philly. Is there a sneaky big move coming, or is he going to be an Eagle next year? We'll see. Plus, it's bracket insanity. Seth Greenberg reveals his Final Four, and I will reveal my Final Four picks when Get Up rolls on. But first, a little sneaky Hembo time. Bringing in Coach Seth here. Which member of Michigan's Fab Five scored the most points over the course of his NCAA tournament career? Oh, that's a good one.
Hembo.